about you as the genealogist here at RootsTech? Do you get to slip into any classes, or are you just having to evangelize Google up and down the halls? What are you up to?
No, it's been good. I'm attending classes, but I'm also talking to lots of people. Kind of a good mix. It's my first time ever at RootsTech. One of my colleagues was here last year and loved it.
Okay.
And kind of that was as we were kind of kicking off our initiative and getting started, and he came as an exploratory. I would have come, but my son was born during RootsTech last year. I had other things to...
You were doing family things.
Yeah, I was building my own family tree, I guess. But yeah, we've had a wide mix. I've noticed a lot of sessions and talks on Google or Google products offered by people like yourself and others, and so I've been trying to attend those, but unfortunately many of them are popular, like yours this morning, that they sell out fast.
I saw you in the hallway, but
yeah,
there was a bodyguard or somebody
I couldn't
there.
get in, and claiming I worked at Google didn't help.
I can't believe that. Okay, well, we'll have to get you some DVDs and things to check out, because Google Earth is my big passion, and I know you're really interested in maps and that type of thing. What kinds of things do you do on your own time in terms of family history? And then have you leveraged much of the Google products to do it?
For my own personal research, I've mostly used Google products. I think I've used Google for a long time, and kind of being in the tech, I probably not used many of the traditional sources that a lot of genealogists use. I start and spend most of my time using Google for search. What I've really liked, and especially as a Google employee, is I've really liked finding new ways to use Google products in genealogy. The recent thing that I discovered, sort of in preparing for my talk tomorrow, as I was playing around with different ways to use image search. I've actually never searched with an image, but one of the features of image search is you can upload a picture and it will search for other pictures like that. So I took a picture of an ancestor, I photographed it with my Android phone.
Well, that's what I was going to, let me stop you and ask you. When you say upload a picture, from your web browser, or are we talking Android type products where you can...
Yeah, from my phone.
Okay,
so
got it.
I already had a digital copy, but as an experiment, I printed the copy out.
Yeah.
There's some quality loss with the printout. Then I took a picture of the printout, and then from my phone, I did a Google search of that picture.
Great.
And I found 3 websites that had information about that ancestor.
Amazing.
By searching on an image. And I started thinking all of the different ways, if there's pictures of ancestors or buildings or places or things that you don't know what they are, or you want to learn more about them, that's another way to do it.
Well, now Picasa plays with facial recognition, and you've got faces in the search option column. I know when we do the George Washington search, you can click faces and you get dollar bills, and the Mount Vernon pictures go away because his face isn't there. Did you have to tell it that you were doing a facial search, or was it strictly going from the image itself?
It's strictly going from the image itself.
Okay.
Sometimes usually when you do a portrait picture, all the results that come back are other pictures of people. But occasionally you'll get a picture that's not of a person, but it has a similar color scheme. You can kind of understand. And from the search results you can narrow it down and say, I just want faces, or I just want these things. But the success that I had was just, here's a picture, find more pictures like it, and it found websites about my ancestors.
That is so cool. Now, people are wondering, okay, well, I've got an Android phone. Do I have to have an app? How did you upload the picture, snap it, and tell Google that you were using that picture?
Right. So there's a couple ways to do Google image search. From your desktop, if you're at google.com and you click up in the toolbar on images, then there's another search bar. You can type in text. Or on the right-hand side, there's a little camera icon.
So that icon does show up when you're using a mobile device that could take a picture.
No, sorry, I was talking about the desktop. So when you click on that, then you upload a picture. To do it from your phone, there's an app. There's an app called Google Goggles.
Right.
That you take pictures of things and it searches for things like that. Or you can. What I actually did is I took a picture with my Android and then sent it to my desktop and did it from there. Because the Goggles has a little bit of a different focus. But Google Goggles, if you want to know about buildings or other things, that Goggles is a good one for that.
So the desktop had that icon in the search box for the images. I know every once in a while we see there's an audio search too as well.
I'm not familiar with that. It wouldn't surprise me, but I'm not sure
Yeah,
about
and I think
audio search.
I want to say that I didn't see it on the desktop version, but I saw it on the mobile. And that's the interesting thing.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, is it the mobile?
No, yes,
is
there
different.
is on the desktop. Yes,
There
on mobile
is,
and
okay.
desktop, there is. Yes, there is. And the best use case for that is you know how to say a word, but you don't know how to spell it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then audio search can usually help you out.
Well, now
there.
wouldn't that be interesting in working with surnames that have all these different variations? It's almost like an audio soundex. Wouldn't that be
Right,
amazing?
yeah.
Wow. So when you're not doing your 20% that's kind of focused on genealogy, what do you do at Google in general?
Currently, I'm working on the TV ads team. So not many people are aware, but Google sells TV advertising. And I work on that team that helps advertisers measure the effectiveness of their TV ads. So if someone watches a TV ad and as a result goes and visits your website, we have developed technology that helps the advertisers measure that. How much of their
Wow.
website traffic is the result of their television advertising. So it's kind of taking what Google's good at is analytics and measuring
Yeah.
and applying that to the oldest and largest advertising industry.
Well, it's interesting because on the one hand, there's definitely the mission of the information side of things, but in many ways, it is an advertising company. I mean, that's a strong point, and that's got to be, I imagine, a major revenue stream. People often ask me in class, if all this stuff is free, how do they do this?
Yeah.
How do they do this, Dave? Who pays
And
the
it is.
bills?
Google makes money through advertising. And
Okay.
what I like, and I think that most of the genealogy industry also kind of follows this model, and I think that it's a good model, but openness wins.
Yeah.
Let's share. And if people are interested in the content that you provide and they're coming to your site, then you can sell advertising and things. And advertisers who are trying to reach those users are willing to do that. And users are excited because now they're being introduced to products that they're interested in, as long as those advertisements are relevant. And so, yeah, Google's products and Google's content is all free. And it's advertising supported. Sort of the way television and radio, most television and radio is freely available in
The
advertising.
nice thing is, though, is that the advertising you do tend to get online does tend to be, like you say, more relevant versus you're watching a television show. It could be random, whatever.
Right.
I know because my credit card shows that it's relevant.
So working on TV ads, it's a good point you make, because one of the problems with television or a lot of traditional advertising is, famous quote is, I already know that half of my advertising is a waste. I just don't know which half. Because
right.
we don't know who we're reaching, and so as the viewers or the users, we're getting bombarded with advertising content that we're not interested in. And one thing that I think Google's done to really help revolutionize advertising is to make those relevant. So I've personally found that I actually look at the ads. If I'm looking for information, I tend to ignore the ads and look at the organic search results. If I'm looking to buy something, I tend to look at the ads more because often they're more or as relevant as the organic search results.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and when it's irrelevant, then that increases the annoyance factor, which nobody's really interested in.
Right.
So, very cool. I know you're going to be teaching. I'm going to get in your class, but they didn't have pre-registration, which was great. I'm going to have to get there early to get a seat, believe me. Tell us what you're going to be talking about.
Well, the title of the talk is Google's Toolbar in Genealogy. So Google's new toolbar, if you basically think of that, it basically shows many of the more commonly used Google products. Google search, image search, map search, maps, news search, YouTube, some of those things. So I'm basically going to walk through that toolbar and show for each of those ways that we can use that in family history.
The Google Toolbox.
The Google Toolbox, yeah.
There you go. Give us just one little snippet, because I know people are thinking, oh, he's got these answers. What's one thing that you tell them in class that you just feel like is an aha moment? It was for you, maybe it will be for them.
Well, one I already described, the aha moment was searching with an image
Yeah.
and finding more. But another one that I think is really interesting is news archive search. A lot of people are unaware, but many people know about Google News. and they wouldn't think of news and genealogy because news websites tend to be more contemporary, very, very current news. Well, Google has archive news and has scanned many newspapers, old newspapers, and for me, a personal aha was searching on Google Archive News for an ancestor and finding his obituary and his wife's obituary, as well as a newspaper article written about him. And so I think it's just maybe even people have heard about that before, but not thinking about it in the genealogy or family history domain.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk, about that, and same thing with Google Books search. Google has many, many scanned books, old books, and I found things written about some of my ancestors in books that were published 80 years ago about an ancestor that lived 400 years ago.
Now I know that the Google News Archive, they've kind of abandoned the ongoing digitization of newspapers. So certainly what's there is still there. They didn't take it away.
No.
Is Google Books, and this is a question I get oftentimes, are they still aggressively digitizing books? Are we still going to find new things?
Yeah, as far as I know, Google Books continues to acquire more content and scan more books. And the news archive, as you mentioned, Google discontinued the scanning of additional newspapers, but the feature is still there. All of the
all
news,
of that content.
all of the content that was previously scanned is still there. And of course, the genealogist in me hopes that Google will return in the news archive.
And bring the, I told Dave when I first talked to him about doing this interview, and the timeline. We all miss the timeline.
Yeah.
What an amazing merge of the time context to our search, and of course we're looking at historical time sensitive things, so that would be amazing.
Right.
But I know, I put my little 2 cents worth in. And we had a fun Google Hangout the other day, and the Hangout sure is very amazing. I learned in talking with Dave on the Hangout, you could screen share, which is just phenomenal, and it's expanding as far as how many people you can reach. So it never stops. You guys just must be eternally tired.
Yeah, that's the thing at Google is I didn't know in this interview how many questions you'd ask me where I wouldn't know the answer because Google's moving at such a fast pace. It's hard even as an employee to keep up with everything.
But writing a book, and then 3 months later, it's like, oh, this chapter's irrelevant. Things just move very quickly.
Right. If you prepared your presentation for this conference a month ago, it's already outdated.
I just saw some new changes to Google Earth, so... Oh, well, we could spend the next 3 hours doing this, but I know that other people want to talk to you, and you've got a lot of things to do here, but I can't wait to sit down on your classes.
Well,
and I
thank you.
hope that you'll come back to the podcast again.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.